we have this imagination engine that runs all the time, all the time, all the time, runs and runs and runs and builds up all this pressure. And if we don't have ways to bleed off some of that pressure, it blows out in the form of anxiety, or for some people, anger, or, those are kind of the top two. When your stuff comes out sideways, it's usually in the form of anger or anxiety.
We can see anger with depression. We can see anger with anxiety. Certainly with bipolar disorders, you can see anger and irritability. So anger is kind of non-specific. And again, normal. Anger can be normal. It's a normal human emotion and sometimes healthy and adaptive and appropriate. Not all the time, but sometimes.
One thing they did, there's a great experiment, it's classic that they did. I forget what they gave the person, but they gave, it was a lot of caffeine, right? So the person was hyped up. And they told the one person that, someone's done something terrible to you, and they got angry. And then they told the other person, somebody's done something wonderful for you, and they got excited. Being hyped up is a physiological thing. How you think about being hyped up is what makes you mad or excited or fearful.
And it's okay to acknowledge that, it's okay to be angry sometimes. But when you're having trouble regulating that, when you just feel irritable all the time, or you feel angry all the time, then that might be a sign. Is there something else underlying there? Is it a depression? Is it an anxiety? And, especially with teenagers, irritability is a big sign that we might be looking at depression. And in men, who may not have the classic boo-hoo, I feel sad presentation. And we think that's because society has told them that's not okay. And so the more socially acceptable manifestation of feeling poorly is anger.
One of the things I teach every Wednesday at 12 is an anxiety group, which is always, very much related to anger. And it's talking a little bit about recognizing how you think and the way you perceive or evaluate your environment, the situation around you, people's motives. The belief systems around an event oftentimes fuel somebody's behavior. They fuel their emotions. And so when we can teach somebody to develop an awareness of their thoughts, oftentimes they can sort of derail that process of anger and put maybe a little buffer in to find other alternative explanations for maybe why they're so angry, or why the person that maybe offended them, things like that.
You've probably known people come home from work and they're like, oh, everybody at work's an idiot. Probably they need to check their stress level. If your stress level is about a 5, like on a scale from 1 to 10, if your stress is at a 5 and somebody pulls out in front of you on I-40, you could be like, oh my gosh, I hope they're not on their way to the hospital with a sick baby. You can be very generous of your assumptions of others. If somebody pulls out, if your stress is at a 9 and the same scenario happens, somebody pulls out in front of you, you're like, oh, I can't believe you did that to me. And you call them all kinds of names and, you take it all very personal. And it's the same situation. They may still be on their way to the hospital with a sick baby, but all of a sudden you're taking it personal. And so that's your stress level speaking, not their actions. So it's all manageable from within us.